Reading is so beneficial, yet so many people don't know how to read. So many people forget what they've just learned in 10 minutes. This is how I was. I used to never remember anything. I used to read, and while reading, my mind would just go blank. I would not focus, I would not pay attention. But in this video, I'm going to give you the tips that I used to become a good reader and remember everything to improve my life. Okay, first, we have to go over reading habits. Now, reading is a skill just like anything else. So you're not going to be good at first. You're not going to be the best reader and retain as much information at first. It's a skill. So you want to slowly just get better with it. Read a few pages a day and really just focus in. Stop reading pages just to read pages. You need to really just hone in on the information. The best way to start getting into the habit of reading is to make it comfortable. Look forward to doing it. So if this means like just going in your bed and reading or going on the couch, just make it comfortable, because the school system kind of taught us that reading is very boring. They made us read uninteresting stuff. We had no curiosity in it at all, so we kind of developed this thought pattern that reading is very boring and useless. However, reading is very, very good for us. We learn so much from reading. These authors are basically mentoring us through these pages. The best way to pick out the books to read is to look at your own life and think, what problems am I facing? Once you think of the problems that you're facing, you find a book that's going to be the solution for it. For example, if you're having the problem of not gaining muscle, then you get a book, How to Gain Muscle. It's kind of like a problem solution type of effect. And be very careful, because it's better to read one great book 10 times than to read 10 average books one time, because you get more information from that great book rereading it over time than you get from the average books that are not going to teach you a lot. And if you're a quarter or halfway through a book and you realize it's not helping you at all, then just stop reading it. Just like you would stop watching a video or a TV show, just get rid of it and stop reading it. A lot of successful people will tell you that it's better to read one book a week than to read one book a month. However, I disagree with that, because when you're first starting out, you really need to just get as much information from the books. And if you're reading one book a week, that's not going to happen. You're just going to rush it, and it will make you feel like you're doing something productive, but it's not going to help you at all. If you're not learning anything, if you're not applying it to your life, then there's no point of reading. So I would say when you first start, just read one book a month and really just try to get as much information from it. Really try to study it. And then you could gradually build up once you get better at the skill of reading. Okay, so now that we went over the reading habits, we have to go over the reading strategy. So what I like to do is I like to highlight whatever sticks out to me. And then I like to take 15 to 30 seconds, really sit there and think about what I highlighted and think about how can I apply this to my life. So after I think about how this can improve my life, what can I start to do? I'm going to write that down on a note card. For example, if a book is telling me that breathing through your nose is more healthy than breathing through your mouth, I'm going to write down a note card, breathe through nose. So throughout the day, I'm going to look at this note card and be reminded to start to take action. A lot of people will tell you to take notes while you're reading, to write out summaries and all that stuff. You will get unmotivated so quickly. This is what happened to me. I used to take all of this advice that they gave me, and I would write down notes and summaries and all that stuff. Not only do you not remember anything, you don't take action, and you just stuff that stuff in your closet or your cabinet, whatever it is. The best way is doing the least amount of work as possible and remembering as much as possible, because then you'll actually want to read. Another thing that I like to do is I like to put sticky notes or bookmarks on the important pages of a book. So instead of writing it down, you just have this important bookmark now. Like you could just go through whenever you want. And I like to reread books a second time, but instead of rereading the whole thing, I would just go through the highlights and the important pages. Some books already have like chapter reviews or recaps and stuff. So if that's the case, then you could just put a sticky note on that page. A lot of people read a book cover to cover. Now, this is not a bad thing if you know full heartedly that the book is good. But if there are some chapters that you already know about, or is not going to help you, there's no point of reading it. You don't want to waste time when you're reading. The whole point of reading is to get something from it, to get a behavior change. And if that's not going to happen, then don't waste your time reading those chapters. I pretty much gave you what I like to do when I read. So, like I said, just write down the actionable steps that you could take, write down what you can apply to your life, and then you'll see such a drastic change. You'll actually start to remember things. Don't listen to that BS that they tell you to write down the information, everything. You're not going to enjoy reading anymore. Reading is supposed to be enjoyable. And once you actually begin to enjoy it, you're going to be reading so much more. You're going to be learning so much more. And there's a difference between a man who doesn't read and a man who reads. You just gain so much more knowledge. Your thoughts just get so much better, more positive. Everything in your life pretty much improves. Reading is definitely something that I wish I started sooner. I wish I could tell my younger self to read instead of playing video games, reading, because the insights that you get is just crazy. And you don't realize this until you actually pick up a book and read. And it's going to be hard at first. I mean, it took me like 3 months to finish my first book because I just hated every second of it. But now, like, I'm happy that I can say I actually love to read because I know, like, the knowledge that I'll get is just so powerful. So next time you're reading and you realize that you haven't remembered anything that you've just read, just remember this video. That's all for this video, though. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. See ya.